So in other news this evening, a shocking report in the UK has found that women and girls across the country are being sexually assaulted in mixed-sex changing rooms. New police data reveals that at least 16 rapes, 80 sexual assaults and 65 acts of voyeurism were committed in sports centres in 2023. Many of these offences were reportedly in mixed-sex changing areas, with campaigners warning that these facilities are a magnet for sexual predators. Well, a little earlier, I caught up with former Olympic swimmer Sharron Davies to discuss this and also her nomination that we see today of her becoming a House of Lords peer. Here she is. Sharron Davies, great to see you. We're going to get on to your very good news in just a minute, but let's start with this awful news. These statistics, Sharron, from 2023, 146 sex crimes, 80 sexual assaults, 16 rapes, 65 incidents of voyeurism across leisure centres. Do you feel somewhat vindicated when you hear these statistics, given that you've been arguing for single-sex spaces for women now for a few years?
I mean, it's just basic common sense, isn't it? You know, if we know that the vast majority of sexual assaults are men on women, and so therefore, if you put women in a vulnerable position in a mixed-sex changing room, women are going to have more sexual abuse incidents. And I think also what's terribly sad is if you look back at the number of sexual assaults over the last 20 years, it's gone from 60,000 to 210,000. So we are so badly going in the wrong direction. And yet here we are bringing down barriers to safeguarding every single day. A lot of it is about money. It's cheaper to build a changing village than it is to build two separate changing rooms with two sets of showers, but only marginally. And I just think that the safeguarding and the risk assessments have been thrown out the window. You know, I get heartbroken when we talk obviously about, males in women's sport. There wasn't a single risk assessment done before women's sport was just thrown under the woke bus. And yet now we're talking about risk assessments to put it back to the fact that women can have fair and safe sport. None of it makes any sense. And I do feel like that women and girls have been very badly let down by successive governments, but particularly by this one, because the Supreme Court has now made it very clear. So they've got everything they need to turn around and, put better safeguards back into place again.
You and I grew up swimming, both of us. You did a bit better than me, but we spent a lot of our childhood in changing rooms, and it was very clear the girls went in the girls' changing rooms, the boys went in the boys' changing rooms. And I'm trying to remember when that changed. So my local swimming pool in Richmond upon Thames in Surrey, where I live at home in London, has the changing village. So we should probably just describe this to people, because they may not know, if they don't go to pools regularly, what that means. When did that change happen, Sharron? And what motivated it?
Predominantly probably money. Architects, deciding that they can design this in this particular way. They maybe only need to build one set of showers because everybody's in there together after they've come out of the pool. And again, it tends to be local authorities, less so if you go to a private club. So if you were going off to, David Lloyd's or Virgin's, they will still have the separate changing facilities. So it's often the councils which have made the wrong decisions here. It's the ignoring the statistics, which I find so heartbreaking. You kind of go, how much do we have to see? I mean, only this week, the number of young girls that have been raped just this week. How much are we supposed to tolerate, and how much are we supposed to see before we say enough is too much? And that's what I'm finding just so heartbreaking. And looking at the statistics that's come back for the Women's Rights Network, who've done this, brilliant report, what it shows is that women just remove themselves and young girls just stop going to the swimming pool. It's because we don't tend to shout about this. I do, because I'm very loud-mouthed, right? And I keep on shouting, and I will carry on shouting. But an awful lot of women just take themselves away. So these policies are not inclusive. They are excluding women and girls.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private internet access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private internet access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Your voice has not been absent. You were cancelled. You were cancelled completely. Just describe to us what you've been through to get to this journey.
So in 2015, the IOC decided to change the law to allow men to identify into women's sport. And I could see that the end result of this was going to be that there would be no women's sport left. And I was just so heartbroken because obviously during the 70s and the 80s when I was competing, we had the East Germans that were pumped full of testosterone and styranobol through no fault of their own. You know, this was an East German regime that couldn't care less about these young girls. They just wanted them to win medals. And the IOC let it happen. And many of those young girls died. All of them have been sick. But 2 generations of young women lost out on their medals. And I just thought, I cannot watch this happen again and sleep at night. And I suppose I was, I'd earned enough money that not all of my mortgage, because all of my mortgage is still not paid off, but a lot of my mortgage was paid off, and I thought I could take the hit. And I didn't think it would be as bad as it was. But for the first 5 years, the policy of Stonewall was no debate. We couldn't even get the science out. We couldn't even get organizations, mainstream media, to even talk about this. I mean, thank goodness for, yourselves and the Telegraph and, talk. There has been a few people out there that have just, without you, we'd have had nothing. And now we're being able to at least talk about it and get some sort of reason. But even now, we're still throwing most of women's sport under the bus. We're only protecting elite. There's still 34 sports here in the UK that do not protect grassroots. So where did the elite come from if they don't come from grassroots? And why is a woman worthy of supporting and giving her fair sport if she's good enough? But if she's not at the very top, then she's not worthy. I mean, that to me is ludicrous.
And what you've just done, Sharron, is what you always do, which is to talk about the issue. And I want to know about you. How has it been for you to get this notification that you've got a seat in the House of Lords? When did you find out? How did you find out? How long has it been in the planning? And how excited are you to get started?
So I got asked 6-7 months ago by Kemi Badenoch, and who I have great respect for. Kemi's been trying to do things for women for a very long time, often stopped, but always trying. And I do think she's a very genuine politician. But I had to sit on it, for absolutely ages. And after about 3 months, I said, look, I've really got to tell my kids and my dad, because otherwise I'm going to burst. And my dad is quite old. He's 90 and he still coaches swimming. And so they said, yes, just tell them that they can't tell everybody else. They have to keep it secret. So I told them, and then it went on and on and on, because the Labour Party obviously is being able to place an awful lot of peers. And I think they announced 25 today. There's a lot of hereditary peers that are going. So Labour are trying to fill the House of Lords with Labour peers. And so they had this huge swathe that had to go in front of the committees. And that, of course, delayed everything. So I only knew about 10 minutes before they were making the announcement today that they were actually going to make the announcements today. So yes, I mean, it's nice that it's not a secret. It's nice that Dad will be around to be able to see it all. The kids still think that I should be called Baroness Dogsbottom, which I've told them they cannot call me that. It's all a little bit surreal, to be honest with you.
What are you going to be?
Who knows? I mean, I can't be Baroness
What
just
are you
Sharron
going
Davies.
to be called?
I don't know, Han. I really don't, because I think you have to go in and basically talk about where you come from and where you're living now and what sort of titles are available and what you would like to be called. Because there are, they can only have one Lord Davies or Baroness Davies, and I think there's already one of those. So it has to be of somewhere. So we'll have to find out about that and go through the whole formal thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward. I've got lots. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, Bev, when you said, I'm not just about feminism and women's rights. It's a big part of my life, but I'm also about trying to get kids into sport. You know, we lose girls from sport now in this country at 11. We used to lose them at 14 and 15. 11, we're losing them. We've got to find ways to be able to engage our young girls, get them off their phones, get them resilient, get them physically happy, get them mentally happier. We've got to, maintain that. We've got to get women back into sport again. And then, of course, my mum died of Hep C as well. So, that is something else I feel very passionate about. 30,000 people died prematurely. So hopefully I'm not a one-trick pony. I've got lots of things that I want to try and do good things.
I applaud you enormously. It's so nice to talk to you. I'll see you soon.
And to you too. Take care.